running is safe and effective. Dr. Eugene Wong and Jeff Saman will argue that the risks associated with barefoot running outweigh the benefits. Dr. Shepard of Bayside Family and Sports Medicine is a family physician who is also fellowship trained in sports medicine. Dr. Wong of Harborside Spine and Sports Center is an osteopath and a physiatrist, a physician who specializes in physical medicine and rehabilitation. Jeff Smith and Jeff Saman of Northern Michigan Sports Medicine Center are physical therapists, certified strength and conditioning specialists, and are board-certified orthopedic clinical specialists. Before we begin, we'd like to make it clear that the views expressed during the debate portion of this presentation do not necessarily represent the views of the individuals making their case. At the end of tonight's debate, we will allow the presenters to give you their own professional opinion of the barefoot running phenomenon. There will be time at the end for any questions you may have for the presenters. The debate format will be each side will have 5 minutes to present their case in each of 3 categories: biomechanics, injuries, and performance. There will be a 1-minute rebuttal. Finally, 2 minutes will be allowed for each closing statement. We're going to circulate a pre-debate survey. We'd like you to place a tally mark under the statement that reflects your current opinion on barefoot running. We'll take the survey again at the end of the debate. Now I'm going to turn things over to Jeff Saman to get us started. Enjoy the show.
Hi everybody. We wanted to give you a brief introduction to barefoot running before we actually get into the debate portion of this. So thought we'd run through that a little bit. What is barefoot running other than self-explanatory explanation? It's running without shoes or with just a foot covering that only covers the shoe. It doesn't provide any actual structural support, and it doesn't change the mechanics of the foot and ankle of the person wearing it. A lot of the recent interest, the reason that most of you most likely heard of it, was this book right here, Born to Run by Christopher McDougall. It came out a few years ago, I believe 2007, and it's kind of exploded in popularity since then. We've seen it all over the blogs and CNN and Detroit News and all those great sources. They've done it in the running world, Running Times, lots of different magazines. It actually was originally traced back to the 1960s is when it got kind of its modern boost. This guy named Habib Kila ran barefoot in the Olympic Marathon in Rome. Is anybody around to see that? Yeah. You saw that? Yeah. So, what I would add is that he actually defended his title 4 years later wearing shoes, and he set a new record in shoes. So, I just had to put mine in front of him. There's at least 90 barefoot running clubs worldwide, over 1,000 members as of November 2010. Obviously, all the people that run barefoot don't join a club, but a lot of them do, so that kind of gives you an idea of the numbers. Barefoot or minimalist shoes are made by numerous manufacturers: Vibram, Merrell, New Balance, Saucony, Brooks. John Richardson here from High Gear Sports has a couple of examples of those when we're done today, so we'll go through those. A lot of people run. I was kind of surprised to see people that do over 100 days a year, so about every third day, over 18 million and over 50 million people run at least once. So across all ages and demographics, obviously. So we're going to break this into 3 different sections. We're going to talk about the biomechanics of shod, which means with shoes. You're going to hear us say shod tonight. That means you have shoes on. Shod, shoe, pretty close. Versus unshod running. We're going to talk about the injury types and the injury rates in shod versus unshod runners. And we're going to talk about the performance and adaptation components of that. So we're going to present the pro side, yes, you should barefoot run for 5 minutes on biomechanics. Then the con side, no, you should not run barefoot on biomechanics, and then we'll go on to the next topic. A couple of definitions to get you started. We talked about shod and unshod. Forefoot strike, this is an important one. This refers to hitting with the ball of the foot. So the first contact is called initial contact. That's when you're running. The very first contact you have with your ground. This is a forefoot strike. This is a midfoot strike. This is a heel strike. Okay. pretty self-explanatory, but we want to make sure we were really upfront with those terms and exactly what they were referring to. Medial means closer to the midline of your body or the middle. Lateral means towards the outside, so this is your medial foot, this is your lateral foot. Soft tissues, when we talk about those are referring to ligaments, tendons, and muscles. Firmer tissues are bones and cartilage, so the cartilage that cushions your joints is a firm material. Pronators or pronation, that's when the foot rolls in towards the middle of the body. So if I take my disembodied foot here, this is the left foot. If this person hits the ground and their heel rolls in like this, they are what's called a pronator. If they hit the ground and they roll to the outside of their foot, they are called a supinator. Everybody's got a little bit of natural pronation. You actually want to have a few degrees because that's part of what primes the foot to be able to spring off when you start running. Pronators in our sense are people that pronate over the small amount that we need to run normally.